As a wee guy, I was the type of kid that was always making stuff. So whether that was recording music off the radio so that I could pretend to be a DJ and come up with my own show, or maybe cutting out pictures of cars from a magazine and coming up with fake races complete with the results, or even, putting together a school newspaper, which is the classic one. That kind of obsession is something that stayed with me throughout my life, and YouTube is obviously a great outlet for that kind of thing. For a long time though, I've been pretty disillusioned with the idea of creativity, or the notion that I am a so-called creative person. Part of this has been because other people often view creativity or being creative as a kind of skill, and if they think that you've got that, then they'll come to you and ask you for ideas or solutions to problems. Whether it was in school or in work, somebody would inevitably always say the dreaded words, "Come on, you're a creative person. Can't you think of something good?" The implication, of course, being that if you weren't able to perform on demand and come up with brilliant solutions to whatever problems they had, then you were somehow a failure or not really a creative person at all. That was always particularly galling as well, by the way, when the topic they were discussing was something that you didn't give two shits about. Now, something that I've realised over time is that creativity isn't necessarily something that you are good at, but rather it's something that happens to you. In other words, creativity is the drive or the urge to make things, whether or not those things are actually any good in the end. Now, obviously, there are certain skills that are associated commonly with creative people. For example, the ability to view different problems from various perspectives. However, I would argue that those aren't inherently tied to creativity, but rather creative people persistently and consistently build these up by engaging in acts of expression, which is quite a different thing. In my case anyway, creativity is the thing that drives me to make things, as opposed to being some kind of deep well of inspiration that I can dip into in order to produce brilliant works of art. Now, obviously this is just my experience and yours may very well differ. However, viewing creativity as a compulsion or an impulse has really helped me understand it better, and also ultimately helped me understand me a lot better as well. Seeing creativity in this way has meant that I could be much more at peace with the idea of being a so-called creative person, because if it's just a neutral attribute, as in if it isn't actually good or bad to be creative, then identifying as such isn't something that is arrogant or pompous, and that has been a really liberating thought. Ultimately, it is just the way that I am wired, for better or for worse.